Hey everyone, it's Audrey here from the Permission Hustle podcast. Thanks for listening. Today's podcast is about a topic that, you know what, I have been feeling this for the last 8 days. And I just said to my husband, I'm going to go upstairs, I'm going to shut the door, and I'm going to record a quick podcast about this because it's something that just honestly not enough women talk about. I have been sick as a dog for the last, I'd say, 8 solid days. I mean, when I say sick as a dog, I mean down and out, really don't want to get off the couch, feel like I'm swallowing razor blades, like crazy congestion, just a really bad head cold, sinus infection, I mean, call it what you will. When it comes to my kids, they have a sniffle or they say to me, oh, my throat has a little tingle. And I'm on the phone that day to our doctor trying to get them in, make sure they're okay. That's just who I am. I'm a hypochondriac. I am not afraid to put it out there. It's who I am. I'm always going to be this way, and I've always been this way. But when it comes to me, I will sit here and WebMD myself, and I will diagnose myself and get so nervous about what's pulling up. But to get my butt to a doctor, it took me literally 6 days. And this is the problem. This is why I didn't do it. Because I knew that I couldn't be sick. I knew I couldn't call in sick. I knew I couldn't take days off. I genuinely knew I needed to keep going and going and going. And you know what? That sucked. I shouldn't have done that. It was the wrong advice for myself. Because when I didn't stop and I kept going and I kept working and I kept pushing myself and I kept saying, you know what? No, Audrey, you're going to be fine tomorrow. I got sicker and sicker and sicker to the point where I had to drag myself to an ER walk-in clinic on Monday where they tested me for strep, the flu, took all of my vitals, did everything that they possibly could just to rule out anything. I tested negative for strep. I tested negative for the flu, which was good. Although I'll be honest with you, I almost wanted to test positive for strep. So I knew I could definitely get antibiotics and get out of there and know that, you know what, in 3 to 5 days, I'll be better. And at least I have an answer as to why I've been so sick. But the thing is, when you're sick and you're an entrepreneur, you can't call in sick. You want to. And you sometimes just have to get stuff done from the couch on your phone with, your eyes literally glazed over. But, for me, the stakes are high. I'm the breadwinner in our family. I can't take 2 weeks off. I can't cancel a job that's a really well-paying job because I'm too sick to do it. I can't afford to tell somebody, you know what, I'm so sorry. I just couldn't do this because I just couldn't do it. I know that I have bills that I have to pay. And I know that each month I have to make a certain amount of money to fulfill those. Excuse me. But the reality is that's not the best advice. And I was stupid and I didn't allow myself to breathe it in. And one of the most common questions I personally get, maybe because I have 5 kids, maybe because people see 5 kids and they automatically go to like, oh my gosh, how do you make it work with 5 kids and work full time? You know what? We all just do it because there's no other way. There's no magical answer. There's no secret code. There's no formula that any of us have been taught. We just do it. We do it because we have to. And we do it because it's our own version of normal. I don't know any other way. This is how I've been programmed. This is what I do. But you know what? One thing I learned over the last week and a half, the most valuable lesson of all, is that I just genuinely have to listen to my body. When Audrey's sick, Audrey's sick. Audrey cannot do it all. And, it was one of those things where even I was supposed to go to New York City for an event. I mean, I'm telling you, the funny thing is I was joking around that my kids were walking around the house like zombies because they're not used to me being sick. They're not used to me in the morning being like, oh my God, guys, you are really going to help me get through this morning. They're just kind of used to not only just me, but my husband just kind of rolling through it. But we all know men have like, what do they call it? The man's cold. You get a little sniffle and it's like down and out. But I will say, and I'm going to say this because you're probably going to hear little things off camera. I have my little 5-year-old daughter next to me perched. And this is the beauty of doing what we do, is that we can be home. We can be here for our children. But I do want to tell you this. The valuable lesson, take care of yourself. Go to the doctor if you need to. Take 2 or 3 or 4 days off if you need to. You are no good to yourself. Don't worry about don't worry about your client. Don't worry about your boss getting mad at you because you're sick. The irony is that I finally did have to, really push back and say, you know what, I can't do a couple things. And everybody understood. And in my head, for some reason, I didn't think people would understand. I didn't think people would be, forgiving. I didn't think people would be like, you know what, it's fine. I've been there. Don't worry about it. And that was a valuable lesson to learn. I kind of think I put so much pressure on myself that is undue pressure. And again, I guess another thing I learned is, you got to have faith that other people get it and other people understand. I guess I'll always go back, and I always say this to my husband, I always go back. My husband, for those of you that don't know necessarily his history, but my husband had abdominal cancer 7 years ago. They found an abdominal tumor in his abdomen. And I remember going out to lunch with a PR rep, maybe a month and a half, 2 months after he had gotten diagnosed and he had surgery and they got it out, and he ended up going on a chemo-targeted pill for 5 years. And so this was after really we knew that, okay, it's out. He's responding well to the pill, and, hopefully everything will keep going the way it's supposed to go. And I remember this person said to me, I'm so glad things are going well. We were thinking about you. We knew that, we knew that you're the sole provider for your family. At that point I was. And I remember them saying, we wanted to use you for a few things, but we knew you probably just needed some time to be with your family. So we ended up not approaching you, but, we just want to let you know we had you in mind for that. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, can I not put out there that things happen? Because I'm afraid that an agency or a client is going to make up their own opinion as to whether I can handle it or not. And this is one person, this is like one incident, but I just remember, 7 years ago, really feeling like, oh my God, this sucks. I don't want to have people think that I can't handle something. If not now more than ever at that time in my life, I needed to make sure that I was providing for our family because I knew my husband wasn't going to be able to at all. So that was an eye-opener to me. And I guess I have not been able to get that out of my head. But you know what the reality is? I need to. It just is. I got to pull up my big girl panties when I'm not feeling well, which is not very often. Then you know what? You got to give yourself time to rest. You got to give yourself time to heal. You owe it to yourself, and you deserve it to yourself to get better. So even yesterday, I know we're not supposed to necessarily timestamp podcasts, but I do. What can I say? Yesterday, I was supposed to go to New York City for an event. It was March 12th. And I told my husband that morning, I don't think I can go. I have to drive in 3 hours. I have to go to the event until about 8:30, and I got to drive home, which means I'm not going to get home until about 11:30 or midnight. Now, I know that you guys don't know my husband. My husband's usually the type of guy that's like, all right, no problem. Call me, when you leave, and, I'll check in halfway. He's not somebody that's, he's just, like, all right, go do what you do. You do what you got to do. And it was really the first time that he said to me, you know what? I said to him, I can't go. And he said, but I know I need to go. And he said, you know what? I'm going to drive you in. I know you're not feeling well, and I know that you don't want to miss this job. It was a work event. It was a compensated work event. And he said, you know what? I know that you don't want to miss this. So he drove me in. And, I guess, too, I really did see that sometimes you just got to lay it out, too, for the people that you love and the ones that support you and will be by you, and have them help you out. Sometimes you need a helping hand, and sometimes that hand really needs to be a big one to pull you up. And, again, I want to do this podcast because there are so many of us out there, working moms that are doing it every day. And if you're not a mom, you're in the same boat, too. You're doing it every day. You're working your ass off. You're blood, sweat, and tears all in. You're all freaking in. And sometimes your body just gives out. Sometimes you got a headache or a stomach ache or exhaustion. And you know what I'm telling you right now? Listen to yourself. Listen to your body. I didn't, and it got worse. And I'm glad that I finally had the reality check after about 5 or 6 days in, where I finally got my butt to the clinic, because I knew that I needed medication. I knew I needed antibiotics. I was just too sick. So that is what I wanted to just share with you guys today. Listen to yourself. If you're not feeling well, if you're not 100% you, Give yourself that time to heal. There is nothing more important in this world than your health. There is nothing more important in this world than your health. If you are down and out, you are just not good to anybody. And you really want to make sure if you have the ability to take care of yourself, then do it. And that was my, that's, again, it was a wake up call. I had the ability to take care of myself. So I'm going to take care of myself. So that's it. I wanted to make this a quick podcast. Okay, we're 10 minutes in. That's not bad. So that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys have a great night. Please head on over to all of our other podcasts. We have a bunch of great stuff coming up. We're super duper excited about it. You guys are always great to be such supporters. If you have the time, come on over to iTunes. Give us hopefully 5 stars and give us a thumbs up. We love that you listen and just appreciate you guys being part of our Permission to Hustle. Have a great night, guys. Bye.